Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. We are pretty deep in the woods. I just finished delivering my next round of soft gourds and pumpkins way back beyond the pasture line. It's beautiful back here. It's quiet. It's cool. There's not a whole lot going on. Of course, it's, and it's not afternoon, but it's late morning, and so it is really just calm and peaceful. Everybody's laid down that should be laid down, and anybody that's up and working is up and working. And what I mean by that, by anybody, is the animals, of course, right? So the squirrels are out in force collecting. Oh, toad friend. Look at this little guy. Let's see if we can get him. It's hard for me to keep an eye on him in the camouflage and get him on camera. He's so cute. There we go. There we go. Say hi to our little toad friend. Anyway, yes, I pay attention. This is the weird thing. This is why sometimes I think you guys must wonder what the heck I'm doing when I'm walking and the camera bounces. Because I'm noticing the little toads or the squirrels or the acorns or the nuts. And I'm trying not to tip the camera, but it's kind of like driving, right? When you turn your head, your hands or your steering wheel instinctively turns with you, even if it's just a millimeter. You kind of head toward that direction that you're looking, which is why they tell you to look forward and pay attention to the road. Anyway, I guess that's my PSA for the day. So yeah, so when I'm walking through and I'm trying to show you the woods, I'm trying to kind of, just enjoy the trail, so to speak. I'm constantly swiveling my head up, down, left, right, trying not to miss anything, because, if I see something, I want you to see it too. But at the same time, trying to make sure I don't step on anything, I don't hurt anything. I mean, I wouldn't want to squish little Mr. Toad. You never know if there's going to be a turtle or a snake. And of course, I'm listening for the birds. So it's a project to be doing this. So now we're clear toward the back of the pastures here. This is the back of the donkey pasture. And, we were very recently on this trail looking at these dens and the potential activity here. So not much has changed here because it's only been a day or two. That's not true. It's been a little more than a day or two, maybe 3 or 4 days, but it hasn't been a long time. Can you see the donkeys through there? Or at least a donkey. There's Miss Penny. As this brush dies back, oh, and there's Dee Dee's butt. We'll zoom in again and get a nice shot of Dee Dee's tush. So they're deep in the pasture enjoying the grasses, the fall shoots. We had some rain the other day, not enough to give us the water that we need, but some rain. So everything is greened back up. Some of the trees here, as you can tell as I walk by, are starting to drop leaves. They're starting to change color a little bit. Starting to see some yellows, some browns, but we're not getting that fall blaze of color yet. It's coming. It's just not here. These dens are still really active. The grasses are completely laid down, going in and out of them. So there's definitively things using these as shelters and homes. You can see, I mean, there's, a path just carved into it from here, right? We saw that same path the other day. It hasn't changed. Our wood pile. This is fairly fresh wood pile. Well, I say fairly fresh, right? We sort of continue to build on it year on year. So there's a lot of rot underneath, which is really good compost stuff. Right? All the little bugs and everything decay that. The foliage hasn't taken it over yet like it has on this side, right? This is how, that pile is exactly how this side started. So eventually this pile will look very similar and become yet another habitat, right? And weirdly enough, I know this is something I haven't mentioned before, but we do sort of strategically pile, right? So if you see here, there's a definitive opening. When that fills in with vegetation, and it will take a long time, but it will fill in with vegetation. It will become a natural barrier or a natural shelter and a natural den. And the more I can encourage the wildlife to use these type of dens, these natural areas, the more they stay out of our pastures and away from our animals, right? So they can live peacefully. I mean, this is only 10 yards from our pasture. And they can live very peacefully right there next to the pasture and never go into the pasture because they don't need to. We've given and provided everything that they need here. And that is ideally what we want. All right, trigger warning. I'm going to show you poop. Deer poop. How do I know it's deer poop? Well, it's pelleted, first off. Secondly, it's not formed in a clump. So definitively deer poop. I do keep an eye out for scat, technically. So as I'm walking and I'm looking for toads and frogs and bugs and everything else, I'm also looking for scat because that'll tell me what's been passing by, what's around, right? And that helps, tell me how the woods are doing in terms of their health. It also lets me know if I have anything I need to be on the lookout for. So, knock wood. What we don't see are coyotes. Are they in this area? They absolutely are. In fact, there's a nice big pack of them that live in this area. I hear them quite frequently, but they don't frequent these woods, which is interesting. I'm not sure why. I'm going to guess it's because we have a lot of people activity with going back and forth to the barn. We have a lot of dog activity with Tonka and the other dogs. That's a guess, not a guarantee. We saw one coyote on the property once and we did chase it off, meaning we got into our Kubota and we drove behind it until it finally left the property. And that may have been enough. I mean, that was years ago at this point, but that may have been enough for the pack to just say, like, not the place they want to be. And I'm okay with that, but I do keep an eye on it, right? If we see scat from coyote, then we know that they're in these woods and we need to be much more alert and aware as to what they're feeding on and what they're looking for. But again, thankfully, not a problem. We also have bear in the area. I have not had the opportunity to see a bear wild in this woods, but they are here. They are local. Could they, could a bear move in? Absolutely. As the population grows, I'm sure someday one will move in. Again, not necessarily a problem unless they decide that they don't want to eat what's available to them out here and they want to take a visit in our pastures. But hasn't been an issue. Haven't found any signs of coyote or bear. Just fox, deer, opossum, skunk, weasels. Yes, there are weasels in New Jersey. I know people don't know that, but there are. There are also mink in Jersey. We have not seen any on this property, thankfully, because now that's a critter that's dangerous to have around when you have livestock, because they are just so smart, and they, they won't see our poultry protection as a challenge. Everything else does, thankfully. What other wildlife do we have? What did I say? A raccoon, skunks, opossums, fox. That covers the big ones, right? Squirrels, mice, rats, weasels. I'm sure there's other critters here that I'm not thinking of right now, but those are the big ones that I sort of keep an eye out for. Chipmunks. Can't forget about Chip and Dale. And that's about it. So there we go. Nice little walk in the woods today. I hope you're having a fabulous day wherever you are in this world. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be kind. And I will see you at the next one. Bye for now.